If you're tuning in here because you want to learn more about manifestation, you're having problems with it, you're working on manifestations and they're just not showing up in your life, or maybe you're getting discouraged, maybe it's just hard, or you feel like it's just too hard, then you've come to the right spot, okay? And the first thing I want to tell you is you manifested this video. You are a master manifester right now. Most people don't understand it because you're manifesting your life on a minute-by-minute basis. You really are. How we get things to come into our life is an interesting concept. It is I guess you would call it a power that we have that most of us don't know. We don't remember. We don't have any idea that we have that strength. And I refer back to Neville Goddard. And Neville Goddard says that the human imagination is the God within us. In other words, it is the creative power that's within us. In this video, I'm going to go into some of this stuff, some of the things that you have to understand to be able to manifest and accomplish manifestation the one you want to. Stick around. And if you would, just click the like button. Even hit a subscription. Help this video to grow. Help this channel to grow and get out to the people that really, really, really need this, okay? Not that you don't. You may not. But if you stick around, I'll guarantee you'll learn something about manifestation that the other gurus seem to have left out. Okay, my name is Chuck. I am a clinical level hypnotherapist, professional, certified. Been through the training and all that stuff to get to the point where I can work with people. It gives me a very unique perspective, a very unique way of looking into how people think and how they feel. I was working on manifestation. I was working on a lot of things long before I got to the professional level of hypnotism. But hypnotism is a great way to get into all that stuff that holds you back. One thing that a lot of people don't understand, the universe has no judgment. It really doesn't. It does not care if you're rich. It doesn't care if you're poor. If you have something or you don't have something, the universe just doesn't care. It only reflects that inner feeling that you hold about yourself, that inner dialogue that I've talked about before. Neville said, he made the statement that the outside world is the effect, not the cause. In other words, most people are looking to the outside world, for, I don't know, maybe motivation or whatever like that. It's not there. Your outside world, again, is what you manifest, what you see as a reflection, like a mirror, of your life, of what you've thought, what you believed about yourself up to this point. What you see in your life every day is old news, really. It's the past. So you're looking to get new stuff into your life. You get a new person, new things, new money, whatever it is like that. The inner world is the cause. The inner world is where that's coming from, and it reflects into the outer world, okay? Understanding that was a big thing for me. It took me a while to really understand that, to get it into my brain, get it locked into my thinking and my understanding that the world in front of us is not, it's hard to say it's not factual because we see it and it's there and it's hard and solid, but it is a projection of our life, of our inner being. And once you understand the dialogue that goes inside of you, in the back of your head, and again, a lot of people don't even know it's there, that dialogue is a reflection. It's actually a translation from your unconscious mind that is telling you what you think about yourself. I don't know, have you ever had an argument with somebody that wasn't really there? That comes from an internal thing. Have you ever just imagined yourself doing things that you don't see, that you don't have? That's the visualization. And as long as it's done properly, and as long as you have the right background, the right inner dialogue, the inner feeling of yourself, you can make that stuff come true. Okay? And the universe doesn't really care. I mean, it doesn't make any difference how much you protest. It doesn't make any difference how how much you claim something. The universe doesn't care as long as your inner feeling doesn't coincide with it. You have to get that to coincide. I mean, people have, feelings of lack, and it's all caused by old programming. The programming came mostly when we were children, before we were 7 years old. Not by mean people. Some of us were programmed by mean, but I know a couple of people that had some pretty mean parents. But, primarily we were programmed by our parents that passed their programming on to us. they were inadvertently programmed, or if you didn't grow up with parents, like my wife was part of a foster care system and didn't really grow up with the parents, there are authoritative people in your life. That's where your programming comes from. Perhaps it's the schools, whatever, but it's all there. So whatever it is, you can name it, until you do something with those inner beliefs they're erroneous, until they're eradicated. No matter how much you wish, no matter how much you hope, it ain't happening. It's just not happening, because that inner programming is what's controlling your manifestations. You can only express what you believe yourself to be. That's all you can express into your life. So the belief system is everything. So if you have some underlying belief system that you're just not good enough, you're not enough, or something like that, that is what you're going to express. When it comes, and again, your unconscious mind, even as an adult, it did as a child, but as an adult, it doesn't know the difference between real things and make-believe. In other words, if you make believe something, and you make believe strongly, it will accept it as real. There's been all kinds of minor, not minor, the studies have done it. One of the ones I heard years ago was basketball players. They had people that practiced basketball every single day, went out and shot baskets, free throws, whatever, and a group that sat and imagined doing the same thing for the same amount of time every day, and then they had another group that did nothing. Then after, say, like a month of that type of programming and practice, they brought them out on the basketball court, and of course the people that did nothing, they couldn't hit the rim, much less get a shot to go in. They were just total losers as far as basketball is concerned. But the interesting thing about it is the people that didn't do the practice, the physical practice, but did the imagination, they did pretty much just as good as the ones that practiced for a month. So they didn't do the physical effort, but they could still do as good. So that in itself shows you right there that their minds believed that they were really practicing basketball while they're not doing anything, basically sitting down doing a visualization. So that's kind of the idea behind manifestation, is to visualize something that you want, knowing and believing that it's real and it's yours, and it comes into your life. And there is a lag time, and that was the thing that I had a hard time getting up with also as I was living these last years, the years of my life, trying to make things. Sometimes things that work great, absolutely great. Some of the great manifestations. What have I manifested, right? I'm here telling you how to manifest things. So what did I do? I live in northwestern Arizona, about 100 miles south of Las Vegas, Nevada, in the desert. And I bought acreage out here. There's other people around me. More and more people are coming in here because the property is really cheap. It's also in the desert. Right now it's 106 outside and it's hot. But that's okay. You get used to it. This way, again, we got air conditioning. So, as long as we have air conditioning, we're in pretty good shape. But I had a house and I needed to sell that house. I wanted to come down here. I'd already picked this place. And the house I had at the time was a fixer-upper. And I bought it as a fixer-up. I did a lot to it. But that's not my thing to fix up houses. I got it so it was livable and that. But it still needed a lot of work. So I decided that was the thing I had to sell. It's the thing I had the most value in, and I could come down here and buy property with. And I sold the house twice in one day. I did. It was crazy. I did some programming on that. The day before, one of the neighbors stopped by. He said, "Hey, whatever this guy's name was, I don't remember his name right off. I wouldn't say it anyway, but it was a guy around town there. If you wanted to sell your house, he'd make you an offer on it. If you take his offer, then he would buy your house for cash." So he told me my neighbor told me that he's the guy stopped by and asked him if he wanted to sell his property. He said, no, he didn't want to sell it. He's going to live there. He lived there almost his whole life. So anyway, so I thought, oh, wow, yeah, I can call him. So I did. So the next day we got together fairly early in the day. He made me an offer and we him-hawed back and forth. And I decided to take his offer. And it wasn't much as I wanted, but I thought I'd take his offer. So I'd been manifesting some way to sell this house. And so this all transpired and just really quick. So we wrote up a contract and he left. And my neighbor came over and said, hey, somebody told me you just sold your house. And I said, yeah, we did. She said, how much you sell it for? I told her, she said, I got a friend that'll pay a lot more than that for it right now. He wants a house here. Good friend of mine. And he said he'd love to live next door to me. So I thought, oh, that's weird. So she said, let me go call him. And she came back. And she said, he'll give you a lot more than that for it. And I said, well, when can he be over here? And she said, he's coming over tomorrow. So technically, he showed up. He told me what he would give me for it. And it was about double what the other guy was giving me for it. And so I got a contract with this guy. How do I get out of that? So I called him and I said, can we cancel the contract? Because I told him why. And he said, oh, if you can get that much money for it, I'm not going to stand in your way. So he canceled the contract. So I sold the house, bing, 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 it was done, sold, and it was cash. Cash at closing, which was another story that took a long time. It took us 3 months to close. I never had any doubts that it was going to close. And we needed the 3 months anyway. You know how it is, you move out of someplace you've lived in for years. And it came through, we got the cash. In the meantime, I wanted to get a motorhome to come down here in, and I had to wait till I sold the house to have the cash so I could buy a motorhome and do stuff like that. So I asked a guy down the street, they had a motorhome, a used motorhome, and it's pretty decent shape, and they had been driving it, and suddenly it wasn't driving. So I'd asked him prior to this if he'd sell me that motorhome. I said, what do you want? He said, well, the transmission's out. I said, well, what do you want? What do you need for it? He said, we don't want to sell it, we're just going to fix it. And so anyway, that was 6 or 8 weeks before I sold the house. So the day after I sold my house, he comes up and knocks on the door and he said, do you still want that motorhome? I said, yeah, what do you want for it? He said, you can have it for free. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, no, just come down and get it. He said, my wife just got a $4 million, it was kind of a settlement thing. She said, got $4 million. We're going to go buy a new one. We're not going to mess with that thing. So he said, you can just have it. So anyway, I happened to be able to work on transmissions and all that kind of stuff like that. So I got a friend to tow it up to the house there. Worked on the transmission, and all it cost me to fix the transmission was transmission fluid. When I took the transmission, I left it in the vehicle, took the pan off the bottom, looked into it. The main nut, the nut that held on the shift linkage had come loose. It just wouldn't shift gears because it wasn't connected to the shift linkage. Tightened the bolt up, put transmission fluid in, drove it to Arizona for free. So that's what things manifest. And I just knew it was going to work. I had no idea. I had no qualms and nothing holding back. And my life has been kind of like that for years now, for a number of years. It's just like something that I know that I want, something that I know that will work, just that works. And I don't even think about it anymore. I don't worry about it. It just happens. Doing these videos, I'm pretty new to this. Doing the videos and stuff, but it's working out. You know, I'm getting a little bit of traction here on some of the videos and that stuff, and it's really simple. Now, how do you do that? See, I'd really gone through this. Had become a professional hypnotist by that time, and working with other hypnotists back and forth. I had pretty much cleared a lot of my garbage out. I still have things coming up though. Doing these videos, just emotions come out of me that I thought were long gone, but they do. They come out. So you never know when you're fully cleared out, and you probably never get fully cleared out anyway, or else there would be no purpose for us to stay in this life and would leave. But that's really what it takes, is just to get that cleared out. And the fastest and easiest way I've ever found to do that is through hypnosis. You can do it on your own by, just having that burning desire, as Napoleon Hill said in the book Think and Grow Rich, have that burning desire, and you don't take no for an answer, and you just keep at it. Eventually it's going to work out, right? Yeah, hopefully. But or you can look into that through a professional that can help you get into your unconscious mind, turn off those old ones, at least turn off the perception that they really matter to you, and install new things with new perceptions that makes it very simple and very easy for your manifestation. Hypnosis does exactly what Neville used to talk about for the programming when you're going to sleep. They call it SAS, state akin to sleep. And within, you can get a minute and a half or 2 minutes before you go to sleep at night. You're still a little bit lucid, but you're dropping into like your theta brainwave pattern. And you can reprogram yourself. You can cancel things out. You can add things in. Well, yeah, you can do that, but it's a very limited number of times you could do it. Where with hypnosis, you can go into that state and stay there for an hour. It doesn't take, you got a lot longer than 2 minutes. And plus, if you do it yourself, and I've done it myself, I used to do it with cassette recorders back in the day. Now we've got better recording devices. Record something in your voice, not somebody else's, your voice talking to you, telling you exactly the programming that you want to put into your life. And then when you get into, if you want to do it with SATS, fine, or if you get yourself into a self-hypnotic state or manifestation, or a meditation, it's the same thing. Turn that recorder on and listen to it, whatever you got recorded, and listen to it. And it works best in your voice. Even if you don't like your voice, you hate your voice like most people do, It works best in your voice. And it really is a good tool to reprogram yourself. I used that for years. Like I said, I used to do the old voice recorder, the cassette recorders, and they were noisy and loud, but that's all we had at the time, so that's what we used, you know. So anyway, that's just a good suggestion for it. Anytime you get an emotion comes up, if you're doing some of that and you get some kind of emotional thing that comes up on you, ask yourself, take a deep breath, a couple deep breaths, and let it out slowly, and ask yourself where that's coming from. What is that? Where is that coming from? Why is that there? Try to find out the root of it. When you find out the root of it, then you can pull it out by the roots and reprogram yourself. It's really that simple. It really is. It's just that hypnosis is the easiest and fastest way I've ever seen to do it. And the gurus will tell you that, but they don't tell you anything else about that. They'll say, oh, you could do hypnosis, and then they blow on down the road because they don't know how to do hypnosis. Be happy to work with anybody. You can get to me through my email right now, my email on my YouTube channel. I do everything over Zoom. There's no travel at all. Just, you know, pick a time when you are going to be undisturbed. We'll sit down on Zoom for about an hour and a half, and go at it and see what we can do for you. It's that simple. Again, my name is Chuck. Appreciate you coming by. Like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. A lot of other people would appreciate it too, not just me. Oh yeah, and I wear my 2024 solar eclipse blood donor shirt. I do blood donating through Vitalant, which is a company that comes down out of Las Vegas to the VFW post over here, and it's kind of cool because they send you a text when they use it to save somebody's life. Use your blood to save somebody's life. It's pretty cool. It's a neat thing. Plus, it kind of cleans a lot of crap out of your body and gets new red blood cells and all that stuff in your body too. It really helps out. Take care. Have a good time. Be safe. And above all else, be at peace.